is
Everybody here?
the
Okay.
meeting of the Harbor Management Commission Mooring Committee meeting Thursday, February 11th at 9 a.m. Let me take the roll. Let me just say also that all members of the public have been placed on mute for the call following the COVID-19 guidelines of the town of Fairfield. People are invited to send email comments to any subjects brought on today's meeting to Zipporah@me.com. I'll spell it TZIPORAH @me.com, and your comments will be included in the minutes of today's meeting. Let me take a roll real quick. Is Jeff Stedman on?
Yes.
Jeff, yes. And Harry French? No? Okay. Kim Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. And Harbor Master Billings?
Here.
And anyone else on? That's any other commissioners today? Okay, let's proceed. Following our agenda, first item on the agenda is a Harbor Master report. Harbor Master Billings.
Good morning, everyone. This month's report essentially centers around the annual permit renewal process, online mooring, and waiting list renewals. I just, let's see, I'll give you just a quick update. We're doing better than we were at the same time last year. Looking at my dashboard, come on. In the North Anchorage, we have approximately 30 out of 50 completed applications. Oops. Am I still online? I hit the phone accidentally.
Okay.
Still here?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay.
We're here.
North Anchorage?
North Anchorage, I have... I'm going to use a mouse instead of the pad. North Anchorage, 31 out of 51. The rest of the renewals are under review. I did a couple of them this morning, so it's progressing. The rest of the harbor, I have 58 that are approved as of this morning. And a number of them are under review, obviously. People, as I said last time around, they're either missing the correct insurance certificate or they neglected to upload their current vessel registration.
Okay.
The wait list has expanded a little bit. We have up near 70 people that are currently on the wait list. And some of those are under review. One applicant has been asserting riparian littoral rights, and we're having a little bit of an issue just getting the proper ownership documents, but I have received additional paperwork, and that's under review. Other than that, let's go back to the... So everything there is progressing. In the next week or so, I'm going to be sending out a reminder notice to everyone, because I would like to have a firm head count on how many vacant moorings we're going to have for this upcoming year. Right now, I know of only 2. Those are, I believe, both deep water moorings. So it'll be nice to assign a few people from the wait list.
Okay, good.
Great.
What else? I'm moving along rapidly. I mean, if there's any questions, please let me know. Regarding the patrol vessel, I know Jack can add a little bit to this. We are working hand in hand with Pequot Yacht Club. They're very graciously donating their whaler, which it does need some work. So it'll be several $1,000s will need to be added to the line item budget, I believe, to bring it up to really a good quality harbor master vessel. It's an older boat, so there's some issues there, but I believe it to be seaworthy, and I believe that it will be reliable for at least this year and hopefully a couple of years hence, prior to the need for a new motor. I believe that's about it for me today.
Right. Let me just, on the patrol vessel, just add a little color. Ed and I have been working to try and develop a budget to present to the full Harbor Management Commission. If possible, Kim, we may be in a position for next Tuesday's meeting to present the scope of the updates that we would do to this older boat to just get it ready to be used as the Harbor Master's vessel, and would be suggesting, I think Ed is going to talk to Ted about the financial implications of this and that, just get it ready to go in the water investment, and seek the Commission's approval to spend up to whatever that specified amount is that he and Ted work out to make the improvements that we'll go over with the full Commission next week.
Okay, that's good.
They involve things like painting and marking the boat and lighting and so forth.
I have asked the town risk manager for his estimate of whether the boat would be covered under the town's insurance policy, and B, if so, how much would be the Commission's contribution to the cost of that insurance, and he promised to get back to me. So he's working on that as we speak.
Right.
One thing I might add.
That's probably not going to be a huge number if there is a number, but we'll include that in our thinking as well.
Yeah.
I'd like to add one thing, or ask the risk manager one question, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the shellfish vessel. I mean, how many people are really authorized to operate that vessel or have keys, et cetera, et cetera? So, I mean, the same thing would be applicable to the Harbor Master vessel, I believe. And again, I don't be there, so.
I told him that you were going to be the primary user, and that you had a U.S. Coast Guard license and some other professional certifications and lots of experience. So he has that information.
Okay.
Is there anything else I should have told him?
No, I think that covers it. Again,
okay.
If he needs copies of any of my documentation, that's
okay.
I can send those over.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. I think Ed has sort of covered the second item in the agenda, and mentioned that there were 2 deep water moorings anticipated based on what we know right now, which is item 3 on the agenda, and we just talked about the status of the graciously donated Harbor Master vessel from Pequot Yacht Club. So those are the 4 items covered. Are there any of the points that Ed went through there that we should talk about in more detail today?
Could I make a comment, Jack?
Please.
Just quickly, back to the survey of the 371 responses that we have as of this morning. 52 people say that they access the harbor through an annually permitted mooring, and 10 mentioned that they access it through a transient mooring. So of the 52 people out of the 100 plus, so not every mooring permittee has responded to the survey.
Okay.
That's, I guess, sort of interesting, especially since it went out to all of the. But we can't do any more than that. But it does indicate that 52 people with annual mooring permits responded to the survey.
That's good.
And 10 of those 52, or in addition to the 52, there were 10 that gained access through a guest mooring?
Well, that's interesting because you could check as many, means of access as,
right.
possible. So it could be that 10 could include people who have had an annual permit, but
Sure.
I'm sort of thinking that should be separate, but we don't know for sure.
Right.
Well, we also, Jeff, we also don't know if people once they checked, accessing via Ye Yacht Yard or Pequot Yacht Club, then just kind of skipped on ahead and didn't bother to check, access through an annual mooring permit.
Well, but yes, I know that. I guess that's one of the things that we there's a lot of fine distinctions here. I guess.
Yeah.
We're not capable of knowing, but there's quite a bit of people who must have checked more than one box here because a number of people the most common way of enjoying the harbor for access is they say enjoy water views. That's activities. And then for access, how do you access the harbor? The most responses are with respect to the town boatyard. And then second is with views from Harbor Road. And then third is the Pequot Yacht Club. And then you have the annually permitted mooring is another box that could have been checked. Well, I know there's a lot of things that but I think still there's a lot of good information here that we've obtained.
Hey, Jeff, relevant to this committee on moorings, did you find in your look at the verbatim comments any themes that would be something we should think about talking more about here with respect to the management of moorings, the assignment of moorings, the people's use of moorings? I do recall in one of the early releases of the preliminary results, there were a few comments about vessels that were not really being utilized. They were being stored on the mooring and taking up town moorings, but for storage. Did you see anything else that really relates to this committee?
I haven't gone through the comments carefully since the last time we did it, which was a week ago, and that's the one that I remember having to do with moorings. But with respect to our the issues and the priorities, one of the comments was priority was continue to update and fine-tune the mooring rules and procedures and the new online mooring administration system. Mm-hmm. Now, most people felt that might be important. More so felt that than very important. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was 117 responses that felt that was very important, but still less than the people who thought it might be important, and not really important. That was the third less. So, yeah, I've got to go through all of the comments, which I haven't done since for about a week or so here.
Okay.
And then there was suggestions for additional harbor improvement projects. That's, but I think you just need a little bit more time once it closes out this weekend to sort through everything.
Right.
But I think that's interesting that a large number of people thought that updating the mooring rules and procedures and might be important. I mean, that so easily they could have checked not important to me or whatever that third choice was. So, but I take some comfort from the way that question was answered.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Interesting information that's provided here. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Jack. I don't know in detail all the comments having to do with moorings, but we'll sort through all of those.
Okay. Are there any other matters for today to discuss? Items that Ed covered, or any new items? Okay.
Well, I guess.
Go ahead, Kim.
I guess Ed mentioned this in passing, and I think it might be worth us just keeping in the back of our heads. And Ed, if you recall, what you said was that because we do online mooring, the way we use it has been customized. It's made some of the things that you need to do on a more regular basis has made those things complicated. And it seems to me that we just need to keep that in mind every time we ask for a special fix of something. That, the question that we might be asking ourselves is, does this make it more complicated to do something else going forward? I mean, it's just a comment. I don't think we have any answers to that question. But I just was kind of struck by that, and that maybe we need to just keep that in mind.
Understood.
I appreciate you saying that. I do have a big smile on my face because, it's just so true. It can get complicated, just making sure that you check the right box. Especially, like this year, there was two people who relinquished their moorings. And, I forgot in my report, there's been a couple of people who have wanted to remove themselves from the wait list. So, in going through the online mooring process to accommodate everyone's desires, it's a familiarization process. But if I do have a problem, like Kim is saying, since it is a customized program, even technical support sometimes has an issue. And so we'll have to go direct to Brad and, have him resolve it or tell me how to fix it. So.
I appreciate that complication. On the flip side, I feel good that we have a system now that's keeping records of all these things, like people's requests to be removed from the waiting list, so we have documentary evidence that occurred, kept in the system. It's really nice for those kinds of notes to be maintained for future harbor masters and future commissioners to be able to refer
Absolutely.
to if an issue ever came up. So there's pluses and minuses to the automation that we put in place here, but there's, I think, more rigor is an important advantage that we have today with this system that's used up and down the coast here by other towns.
Well, I totally agree, Jack. I think we just have to find the balance between, how much do we customize it to solve one problem if it's going to complicate things to try and solve other problems down the road.
Right.
That's really kind of all I was saying. I totally agree that having good records is super important.
Right.
So, Ed, what are we doing? We are refunding the waiting list fee, are we not?
I'd have to review that. Need an additional, conversation regarding what has happened in the past. There has been one person indicated that he would like to receive his mooring application fee back, or his his wait list application fee back. Which my understanding was that it was essentially a $50 fee to reserve your spot on the wait list, and once you accepted a mooring, that fee would go against that current year's mooring fee. Now, if
our rules do say that it's non-refundable, so I
think do they? Okay.
So somebody would need to come before the commission and explain the special circumstance. Otherwise, we'd be in a discrimination situation where some people got their money back and others didn't without a very good reason why we're giving them special treatment. I could, for example, see somebody who accidentally applied and immediately afterwards told the harbor master they didn't mean to apply to be on the waiting list. That feels different to me than somebody who's been on the waiting list for 10 years and finally decides they don't any longer want to be on the waiting list. Those people, I don't think would be entitled to get their money back. But the rules don't go into that level of detail. It just says it's non-refundable, and I think it's the harbor master's judgment on what's fair and reasonable. But I think we have to be careful about discrimination.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Well, if the rules say non-refundable, that gives us a good start.
Yeah, it does say that it's not
Right.
refundable.
Yeah.
To the point that you made about accidental application, that did happen a couple of times last year. And we did refund a few people. And this year, actually, I've had two people that have sent in checks that they just got on the waiting list last year, and they thought it was a $50 annual fee. So it's like,
oh wow,
they had already. I picked it up at town hall the other day, so I have to send those checks back.
Right.
But
right, I think I recall last year, in our first year using online mooring, some people who were trying to renew their permits accidentally signed up for the waiting list instead, and paid a $50 fee. So, that's a great example of those people should be given their money back. That was a mistake.
Right. So, Ed, are people more comfortable using the online system this year than last?
I would say yes, for the most part. And that's based on just simply the number of, or the pieces of mail that I've retrieved from town hall. The other day was maybe 5 or 6 pieces, and I think it's an acclimation thing. Most people have a cell phone, so all you really need to do is just take a picture of your document and upload it, or if you must, you could just send it to me and I can upload it. But most people are, as you're suspecting, are on board with the program. There's, I'm not going to say a lot of people do it 100% correct the first time, but there are, I would say probably 10 to 15 people who there were no issues. Everything was uploaded. I didn't have to send any follow-up emails, and things of that nature. But we're getting there, and I think as the years go by, people will do it. My next process, aside from waitlist issues and assigning new moorings, will be sending everyone. I'll send out a blanket email to please upload your current vessel registration that expires in 2022. So. On my end, when I look at the dashboard, I'll see all of these red lights suddenly pop up, which last year it caught me by surprise. It's like, oh my goodness, what did I do wrong? But now I know the system, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, it does seem like we could put an automated message in on a regular schedule, because the state of Connecticut reissues new registrations at the same time, right? So
yes.
So we could just have the system generate a reminder email to every user to, while they've got their fresh document in front of them, take a picture of it, put it in the system, and be done with it. And then, at least with respect to the registration, there's nothing to add when it comes time to renew in January.
Exactly. The insurance documentation, that's different. Everyone's is different. So, But.
Yep. Yeah, well, we were told at the outset by Brad that the users take some time to get up to speed, but after just a couple of years, people are pretty much comfortable with the process. So we're getting there.
We're getting there. Good.
Yep.
Anything else for today?
Nope, not for me.
Okay. Ed, anything from you? Jeff?
I don't believe so. As Jack so kindly mentioned, we are, we're trying to get a budgetary figure together for the boat. So that's I'm trying to get used equipment, instead of buying something brand new, unless I have to. But when I was in the yacht club business, a lot of times we would replace engines on the yacht club owned vessels with leased back engines, which that's apparently not done anymore. So there's I guess there's quite a demand for used engines, especially in COVID times. So new engines can be quite costly. So
we were thinking that if we could get approval for an up to amount to get moving on this, that the spring will be upon us in no time here, and it would be good to have the authority for Ed to get moving on the things that need to happen on this boat without waiting yet another month for the the March meeting of the commission to get that budget approved. So
Yeah, and the Yacht Club, I did hear from Mr. Engborg from Pequot Yacht Club. He stated that the Yacht Club is good to go in whichever manner is easiest for the Harbor Commission. So I think once we get the insurance risk management taken care of, the rest will hopefully fall right in line.
And Kim, that grant document we sort of have half finished. We're waiting for the rest of this budget information, and then I think we can do the work we need to do together to get the town approvals to accept the generous donation from the club.
Great.
Okay.
Where would the boat be kept during the season, Ed?
During the season, I've reached out to Justin Cathcart. It would be right alongside of the Shellfish Commission boat. There's an available wall mooring there that apparently the boat might be aground at low tide, but for our purposes, I think that's fine. As long as it's not any risk of being damaged or anything like that. But and he's also graciously said that we could keep the boat winter storage over at South Benson Marina.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure how much detail you want me to get into in the boat. I did a preliminary survey. Unfortunately, that was like 2 weeks ago when that little snow squall came by, and Jeff and I walked down there. I had my moisture meter, and the boat is, as I said before, it's an older boat. It is wet, has a wet transom and wet core, but that usually does not indicate any imminent delamination or lack of safety or seaworthiness of the vessel. So, and there's methods of remediation that really don't cost any money. So, we'll employ those as soon as we take ownership. But other than that, there's a number of things, as I said, the boat will need. And the Yacht Club, again, it's a very gracious donation. They're going to clean the boat up, remove decals and identification, and paint the bottom for us prior to springtime. So other than that, I'll elaborate further, I believe, on next week's meeting.
Great. All right. Are there any other topics to discuss today?
No.
Hearing none.
Is there? This is just. It's probably not real important, or maybe it is. With Betty moving down to DPW, does that have an effect on us as the Harbor Commission or anything like that? Or
I'm not aware of any impact, Ed. That she will continue to be our go-to person and be our recording secretary, and continue to be able to provide us with all the wonderful help that she has provided us with.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, she's really pretty amazing, and I'm just right on top of things all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, and instead of Brian Carey being the person to sign off on payments and I don't know what else he signed off on, but that responsibility will be with the Public Works Director now. And Betty was I don't know what the right word is, educating or providing information to him concerning that responsibility. But that's just because a town employee is responsible for signing off on the payments, and that would include to the online mooring stuff too. But she said she's working on all that and not to be concerned.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Jeff. At the end
she said she's working on getting this all organized, and that we should not be concerned. That we
okay, great.
Things will continue.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interfere. I think the grant form needs to go through the Department of Public Works as well for the same reason. Yeah. Okay. There's nothing else for today. Can we adjourn?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody stay
Okay.
well. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Stay safe. Bye.